So here is my experiment in the oven, but it didn't work. It needs more heat, obviously, and the heat needs to be concentrated. Well, this issue can be easily overcome. That's no problem. With the amount of electricity that we have, that this stove is producing, not electricity but heat, sorry, which is again energy. And doesn't matter which form energy is energy, can be consumed. It flows, it does flow, and you know, like, that's how I see it. Everything, it's a circle. Once the circle has started, it has to be ended. Now, what we're trying to do here, we're just trying to speed up what naturally happens in nature, because that's what's happening in nature. The excrements, let's call them, what happens to them? They fall on the ground, and they fall on the ground everywhere wherever animals defecate. And what happened? Where did our problem come? Our problem came with this industrialization, and the problem was overlooked. Just as they say, the devil is in the details. So, you know, it just honestly was overlooked. And, well, this is the solution. Well, anyway, getting back to the process that happens in nature. So basically, the sun hits the excrements of animals, dries them out, removes all the water from it. By doing so, removing all the living habitat, because moisture, it's a moisture and obviously nutrients, because that's what is left from human body, because we are just a processing machine. We should be just a processing machine in the nature system. We are not, at the moment we take, but we don't give something back. The circle has been opened, but it hasn't been closed. It needs to be closed. So this process here is going to help close the circle. So my idea is like this. My apology. That is, I am who I am, and I am not gonna change. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, even better, that's your problem. So, you know, like, you'll have to deal with it. Wanna hold a grudge? Be my friend. That's not gonna impede any of my doings and stuff like this, and it's not gonna help them either. You know, so it's entirely up to whoever. Anyway, so technically we're trying to dry this out and turn it into fertilizer. By doing so, we need to produce heat. Now the heat needs to be concentrated, obviously, so that, you know, like, we can heat let's say a relatively big volume in a short amount of time, to remove moisture. And obviously to dry the product, kill all the bacteria, make it safe. Now, this is doable very easily, but it's, you know, like, it's a different process. Now this process that I've just demonstrated here just takes in the concept of just grabbing the human feces at the source, not letting them expand, not diluting them and making them easier to catch. This is the concept. Now, this is the first thing. What happens now? The further, we're gonna use everything that is in nature. We're just gonna completely mimic the nature. This is nothing added. I haven't discovered anything new. I just find the solution to the whole. I basically put a safety net. That's what it is. This is what in circles is. You know, like, that's how it works when these people are at heights. So technically is that. So as I said, this can be improved. The concept is there. So everybody, it's You can do whatever you want. It's basically a hole that you don't want anything to fall through it, you know. That's one thing. Now, in regards to the urination and still water in the tank, yes, that's it, but that water can be removed. That tank just needs to be removed. Urine can be applied to plants directly. Like, I mean, once it's diluted with water, you can even water your own garden plants. You can read up on this on the internet. It's freely available information. Everything that I am saying, and this is all information got from the internet, from, you know, from radio, the information from bits from here, bits from there, bits from there. It's just that since I was a child, I want to know kids. So, you know, what is interesting, it's worth listening to, and, you know, put it properly on the shelves there in the brain, so that when you need to access it, you can access that useful information. Not all the stuff that it's going on about buy this, buy that, you need this. How do you know I need it? If you know, how can he know what I need? Yeah, I know that you need me to buy that. Yes, this I know. But anyway, that's a different topic. That's a different topic. So, my idea now to turn these excrements into free energy that can be installed instead of this, let's call it the water tank. Yeah, let's call it the water tank instead of this water tank. So basically what we need in there, we need an incinerator, a basic incinerator, only that it's not going to work with fire, but it's just an oven, you know, like, but an oven, a small oven, which is enclosed. It doesn't have to be under pressure, just enclosed to allow the vapors to not to allow the vapors to escape into the atmosphere. So once the vapors have escaped into from the stove, they can go into a condensator chamber, which is created, you know, like I was thinking, if to create it off the shelf, you can use a small radiator from a what you call it, air cooling system in a car. It's small enough. And now this is for a very small project. I'm talking something that you can do at home, you know, because I am a minimalist, so, you know, I like to utilize the space and everything that there is as small as possible, as much as possible. My apologies, because I remember one day thinking, how can I take all this shit, all this dirt, all this badness, and make it small, so that you can put it in your pocket and throw it somewhere, you know. It'll still be there, you know, like, because it has to be there. Like, there has to be black and white, there has to be bad and good, because you can't define one without the other. It's part of a balance. The balance has to be there. At the moment, our planet is in disbalance. It's just because we were taken but not given anything back. Anyway, so this is being born. All the vapors that is coming from this are being collected into a vapor, into a condensator. Now, this condensator can be used in multiple ways. Now, we're using here another principle in physics. I don't know who said that, but this is the energy never kind of disappears. Yes, energy never disappears. It only changes form. So, you know, like, why we're wasting all this energy when we have 4 hubs that are working, like one is working for all of them. Like, I would just now, the idea came to improve this. You can have 4 of them in here, like, you know, that's for start, and then we can work on the airflow and all of this. But first we have this task, and then we can work on how we can manage this, and then we can have, if we have a stack in here, we can have 4 or 5 plates of food or something, you know, being heated at once or kept hot, you know, like, or if you're cooking something at the same temperature, you know, like, you can have 5 or 6 of them. I'm using one source of energy to do all that, you know, like, you can use one hob to heat up extra water, you know, like, while you're heating your boiling water, you can. Anyway, there is many concepts that, you know, like, together. So this thing, gift, let's call it this gift, it's being dried out, it's being baked out. So all the vapors are being condensed. They're in the condensator, which they're being condensed, which can be collected. Now, I think that it should be safe enough to drink it because it's basically only vapors. Oils that come with it can be filtered with carbon filters. So water before being drunk can be filtered with water filters. Now this might not be exactly it, but the concept is, because like the carbon, it's the best filter in nature. Well, it's the nature filter. We are fighting the carbon. So if we are a carbon-based planet, means that by destruction, by taking everything else away, which if judging by the fact that we humans are 80% water, we're going to be left. The rest of this is going to be 20%. It's going to be something, but most of it is going to be carbon. Logically, that's the way it should be. Just now came up with this. Anyway, that's something to look into. But logically, it makes sense because the tree grows as well. It uses same nutrients that we are using. No, well, it doesn't matter. It uses carbon, but it still uses something that is produced by this ground, by this planet. So it's still kind of consuming itself. It's another small circle. It consumes, it gives, it consumes, it gives, it consumes, it gives, it consumes, it gives. That's so technically, yes, anything that is in there should stick to carbon. Also, carbon is one of the most porous materials. So it will absorb all the oils, all the chemicals and stuff like this, Anyway, this process can be repeated if people want it. For example, triple distillate water, it can just be condensated, dropped down through another pipe, rerun through the same coil and brought back up again. That is not a big deal. You can have a triple distillate, 4-time distillate, whatever times you have distillate. Technically, what you're doing, you're just changing the state of the matter, let's call it. Is it matter called, or the substance? The substance, yes. You change the state of the substance. So that's how it is. Now, by doing that, obviously, this, what you call it, steam, it's water and air. So air needs to be filtered. Now, through air, it's many bacteria will be dead. Toxins and stuff like this might go through. Now, I don't know. See, I'm not an expert. People that are studying this stuff more complex. But anyway, that's what it says, that carbon is the most efficient filter. So the air that comes out of it just runs through a simple carbon filter. So technically what you're getting just by processing this with heat, you are getting back everything that you're getting back your water, and you are getting back free air. Well, all of this is free except for the fact of the energy. But when you're looking at how much energy is being used for the benefit of our planet, this is like, it's minute. It's the same amount. It would be like the ratio that trees use oxygen during the night time, while they're asleep. So it's that is neglected, or like the friction of air, just the friction of air, it is neglected in physics. It's just because it's so minute. Anyway, that is what it is. So this is the concept of my, I don't know, the machine. I'm gonna call it URescue, because the power, it's in your hands. It's in your hands, as it's in our hands. It's in everyone's hands. It's if we work collectively, we can resolve the issue. Because the problem, okay, it's not our problem. It's not an individual problem. It's not, because we didn't know any better. That's the way it was. So just so it come. But anyway, look, we are where we are. There's no point about bragging and arguing about the spilled milk. Let's just now start reversing the process. So urine. Now the water tank there, the urine needs to be diluted in order to go to be able to be used on plants. Now the water system, the sewage system can remain in place, no problem. The U-turn, of the toilet would have to be modified, very easily modified. It just actually doesn't have to be modified. You just have to put, to reduce, I'll draw it now quickly. I'm just trying to make a solution as easy as possible and to be able to be implemented, right away. Now this solution here, this one, it's ready to implement right away, like once it's done. On the farmers, for example, or people that live in the countryside, people that live, that have more land, that could be more land. I mean, like not more land, but have a backyard and stuff like this. They can put it into the ground right away, I don't know how quickly it's gonna take for the worms to come to it, but eventually they will. So within a year's time, that is definitely gonna be processed by the nature itself, and turned into nutrients, which are gonna eventually end back into our food chain again. So, at this stage, once this is being heated up and everything is destroyed, I don't think there should be any smell. But if there is, or you don't even have to bake it if you're in the countryside and you have more ground, you can just literally kind of get it like this, make it into a pouch or something, close it up somehow. We're all humans, our brain, our heads, it's given to us not so that the rain doesn't drop into our neck, it's given to us to think. So whichever way you want to wrap it, and make it tight, and you can just bury into the ground. 1 year's time, that's it, your fertilizer, it's ready. If you have a compost bin, throw it in there. It's because you do throw in there dog shit, why not throw in there this? But just by doing this, you are saving at least 20 liters of water, because in the morning, by the time anyone goes to work, they'd go 2 times to the toilet. Somebody 3 times maybe, depending on the human physique. That's a different matter. So this is my idea for now. Now the benefits of this idea are endless. It's just, I don't like this. Once we have the furnace, let's call it, in place, we basically can implement the steam engine in there, put it in between the furnace and the distiller. So that's going to be the steam engine. So we're still using the steam engine from here to the distiller. From here, well, that's our furnace, let's say. This would be our distiller. And in here, we can place our steam engine. So once we have the steam engine in here, the steam comes from here, is being filtered. If it's a furnace, if it's a proper furnace with fire, now let's say we have to burn something, obviously the hot air here and everything is being filtered through the carbon filter first, and then the layer is let to go before it's being cooled, so that we capture everything at the source. We don't let it go out into the atmosphere to expand and to because it's harder to catch. Why? Well, yeah, I am anyway, that's the concept. The concept is to catch the thing at the source and then transform it into free energy. So basically, this cooks, vapor, water, and heat is being released. Water and steam, water and hot air is being collected by the steam engine here, which produces torque, which can be used to power something, a small generator or something like this. It's now these brushless generators, I don't know, I haven't tried one, I've only read about them. Apparently they have very little resistance, so this is that's one thing. You can have one of that in there. Also, obviously, in the distiller, then you're going to have your pure water. Now, the distiller obviously can be, the refrigerator can be either connected to the to a refrigerating system, which is using a minimized version of the refrigerator system, just only to cool the water. That's one thing. And then it will have another kind of spiral into it. Now this is for bigger problems. This is for house heating systems and stuff like this. So basically, the way I'm looking at the problem is I am mimicking the nature in itself. Like, because everything started with the Big Bang. Well, that's what they say, that theory, whatever it is. But like thinking of it logically, for looking from this, and then the sun appeared. Okay, so once the sun appeared, everything starts forming. So that's heat, basically. So if heat is the life giver, then it can be the life taker as well. So let's call it God, or call it whatever you want to call it. But anyway, what we're doing, we're just replicating the sun by providing heat and then collecting all the rest of the energy that is being produced, collecting and making it work into our favor, rather than what we are doing at the moment. We're extracting it from the ground in order to produce more for us, in order to damage the world further. Because what we did, technically, what was happening before people had the toilets, well, that's what is in my mind. That's how I explain to myself, because I am trying to find the positive in everything, because even the negatives have positives in them. Like at the very least, if it's a bad situation, you learn a lesson. But that's a very good positive when you look at it in the long run. But anyway, we people are too, how would I say, quick, impulsive, at making decisions and stuff sometimes, so. Well, that's us. That's human nature. What can we do? Nothing about it, So this is the concept. I'm giving it to the people, how to use it. The concept is there. It's free to use for everybody. Let's try and save the planet. So you can rescue. You can rescue the planet. You can rescue everyone, and you can rescue yourself. Thank you, and have a nice day. And I hope that your imagination, no,